earlier this year, at one point, I remember seeing a warning on my Facebook feed that every 5 minutes somebody in the Seattle area was passing away from COVID-19. And obviously, people die from all sorts of reasons every day, but just from one, well, at least a presumed cause, one person was dying every 5 minutes. And I became very worried for one reason. Not because I had a fear of physically dying, but I've been writing computer games for 9 years, and there are a lot of things I haven't written down, and I worried that the ideas would get lost if I were to die. I have a lot of code that probably not too many people could read. I haven't really written it in a publication, and so that became a big motivator. And within the space of 6 months, I wrote 4 papers, and two have already gotten accepted, and I'm still waiting to hear back on the other two, and that is good. It became a big push, and it made me think about what I need to do before I die. The other thing I did was to before COVID-19, I was actually living in my car. I've since bounced around from one Airbnb to another in different cities. But it made me clean out my car because I had a big fear that I would pass away and then my parents would come to take care of my final issues, and they would see how disgusting my car was. Or at the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis, I had a girlfriend. I had a big fear that they would all gather to my car, or maybe to an Airbnb where I had died of COVID-19, or maybe the car would be just outside of the hospital room. And I had big fears about how I would be remembered as. See, when people talk about what they want to do in the long term, when my brother talks about what school he might be thinking about transferring to because his campus is still closed, when he talks about his career goals, when he talks about who he wants to marry, or if he wants to have children, what he wants his children to do, when people my age think about retirement, when they think about becoming grandparents, see, those are very short-term matters. The long term is how people remember me after I'm gone, right? What I get to borrow in the 50, 60 years I have left, that I don't get to take with me, those are very short-term goals, right? And so I value how people will remember me after I'm gone a whole lot more than what I get to do here on Earth, right? And so that became a big fear of mine. Another big fear of mine when I heard about how people were dying left and right was when I was working on my PhD. I had dated a girl who had taken advantage of me, and I got to see the kind of life she got to grow up in, and I worried that I would be born into a situation like that. Her father was a borderline alcoholic. Her mother, I don't think she finished high school, and there are a lot of life skills that they are missing. It's not even just about the academics, right? It's about the life skills. Her mother had been married 3 times, and they had some legal troubles. I think what had happened is, I don't want to say if this is a good or bad thing that her mother did, but her mother wanted to pretend that her kids lived with her grandparents so that they could go to a different school district, and they had gotten caught doing that. And I just felt that her kids never had a chance. And the girl I was dating, she was 18 years old, and she was already pregnant with her second child. And I just worried that I would be born into a situation like that. That's a big motivator for why I want to stay healthy. I want to live another few centuries until the world changes for the better, right? I'm kind of optimistic about that. And then after 300, 400 years from now, maybe I won't be so scared about being born again to another family, right? Or just looking at the situation in 2020, there are a lot of underprivileged people who don't have the luxury of social distancing. They don't have the luxury of going to the store and buying hand sanitizer and bleach and toilet paper. And here I am. I actually know how to make bleach at home and how to brew alcohol at home when I couldn't find that stuff at the store, right? There are a lot of people who don't, right? Um, and I worry in the next lifetime if that's going to be so true anymore, or even later in this lifetime, right? There's no guarantee that I'll always have access to all of these luxuries, right? And so that became a big motivator of why I wanted to stay healthy. And also, sometimes when I record some of these YouTube videos, I feel like I could be talking to a reincarnation of myself in the future, right? Maybe 100 years from now, my future lifetime will tune into this channel, and I'll pick up some of this wisdom as well. Right? I sometimes feel I'm doing that as well. Thanks for watching.